LeBron James has officially announced he's leaving the Lakers, and now the final footage of him with the team is going viral. What should have been a routine goodbye has fans convinced there was tension behind the scenes, and one moment keeps getting replayed. Here's what happened. It happened fast. On a Tuesday evening, hours before free agency opened for business, word broke that LeBron James was walking away from the Los Angeles Lakers, not retiring, leaving. James had informed the Lakers that the franchise could move on without him because he would play elsewhere. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul told ESPN's Shams Charania, 8 years in Los Angeles, done in a single phone call relayed through his agent. The Lakers didn't waste time putting out their version of the goodbye. Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss said in a statement that James was one of the greatest athletes in history, and that the franchise would always be thankful for his 8 years with the Lakers, including the title he led them to in 2020, and the countless records he broke in purple and gold. Clean, polished, the kind of statement a franchise puts out when it wants the world to believe there's no hard feelings. LeBron responded the same way. He posted that it had been an honor to wear the uniform, that he hoped he'd made a few people proud during his run. Nice and tidy on the surface. But underneath it, the basketball world had already started picking a side, and it happened almost instantly. Skip Bayless was first out of the gate, and he didn't buy a word of it. He went on social media within hours of the news dropping and torched the entire framing of the exit. His argument, this wasn't LeBron choosing his own happiness, like his camp was selling it. Bayless sounded off that it was the Lakers who wanted to get rid of James's contract, and pushed him out of the team to finally start building a squad around Luka Doncic, writing that Rich Paul did not simply inform the Lakers that LeBron would play elsewhere, but that the Lakers had already made it clear he'd have to take very little money to play for them because they didn't want him back. He didn't stop at the Lakers front office. Bayless went after Luka Doncic directly, tying the exit to the team's new franchise player. He wrote that Luka does not want him back and that the Lakers are now relieved. That's not a farewell tribute. That's an accusation aimed straight at the locker room. LeBron just left behind, and Bayless kept swinging. He put a number on LeBron's 8 years in Los Angeles, like he was handing back a report card. He said he wasn't hating, he was truth-telling, giving LeBron a C for his 8 years as a Laker, and said he was being nice about it. Then he backed it up with the record. He pointed out that in LeBron's 8 years, he'd missed the playoffs twice as a Laker, been swept twice as a Laker, and been gentleman swept twice as a Laker. Stephen A. Smith came at it from a completely different angle, but just as sharp. Instead of attacking LeBron's tenure, Smith turned his fire on the roster. The Lakers were building in his place and made it clear he thought the entire situation traced back to James walking out the door. Smith said the Lakers weren't going anywhere, being led by 3 white dudes in today's generation of basketball, adding that Rob Pelinka had made this white dude central, and that it was no wonder LeBron James walked out the door. That's 3 separate media figures, Bayless attacking the exit's honesty, Bayless again attacking Doncic's role in it, and Smith attacking the roster left behind, all within the same 48-hour window. Add to that Wizard star Anthony Davis, LeBron's former Lakers championship partner, who used the moment to throw his own shade at Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka over how the front office handled its spending spree in the aftermath. The dominoes were falling, and every single one of them had LeBron's name attached. This wasn't a farewell tour. This was a beef breaking out in real time, in public, less than a day after the man had left the building. And the strange part is, none of it came from LeBron throwing the first punch. He'd posted a thank you. The Lakers had posted a tribute. Everyone else decided that wasn't the whole story, and they went looking for who to blame. That's the piece that makes this so different from a normal athlete's exit. Usually, when a franchise legend leaves, there's a cooling off period, a few weeks of nostalgia, then business as usual. This time, the shots started within hours, aimed at LeBron's honesty, his teammates' loyalty, and the front office's competence, all at once. By the time free agency officially opened that evening, LeBron James wasn't just a free agent. He was the center of a fight he didn't start but couldn't avoid. To understand why the reaction got this heated this fast, you have to go back to how this exit actually came together, because the timeline leading up to that Tuesday phone call is exactly what gave Bayless and everyone else the ammunition they needed. Go back one day, Monday night, before any of this became public, the Lakers had a decision sitting in front of them that had nothing to do with LeBron directly, but everything to do with what came next. It was about his son. The Lakers had until Monday night to waive Bronny James and only be on the hook for part of his salary for next season, but chose instead to fully guarantee the second-year guard's contract. On paper, that's a routine roster decision, A father playing out the string of his career, a son earning his stripes on a minimum deal, the franchise deciding to keep the kid around one more year. Except the timing turned it into something else entirely. Bronny's $2.3 million salary for the season became fully guaranteed after Los Angeles declined to waive him before Monday night's deadline, and less than 24 hours later, LeBron notified the franchise of his decision to leave. Think about that sequence for a second. The Lakers commit real money to keep the son on the roster. Less than a day passes, the father tells them he's gone. That's the kind of timing that doesn't need anyone to spin a conspiracy. It does the work itself. It's exactly the gap Bayless jumped into when he argued the split wasn't really LeBron's call to make, to get why that timing landed the way it did. You have to understand what LeBron's 8 years in Los Angeles actually looked like, because it wasn't a clean, victorious stretch that ended on a high note. It was complicated, and that complication is what gave every critic their opening. James arrived in 2018 as an unrestricted free agent for the first time since he'd left Cleveland for the Lakers that same year. In his first season, he played in only 55 games, and the Lakers missed the playoffs entirely. Not the start anyone expected from the league's biggest names switching coasts. Then came the turnaround. James and the team rebounded the following year, as Los Angeles acquired Anthony Davis and won a title in the Orlando bubble during the pandemic-affected 2019-20 season. That championship is the one every tribute statement leaned on. It's real, it happened, and it's the high point of the whole tenure. But after that title, the story stalls out. Over the last 6 seasons, the Lakers have been eliminated in the first round of the playoffs 3 times, have missed the playoffs once, and made the conference finals only once, during the 2022-23 season. One trip past the second round in 6 years, for a franchise that measures itself only in championships. That's a rough stretch to defend. There's an individual milestone tucked into all of that too. That same 2022-23 season, James became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, passing former Lakers great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. A career achievement layered on top of a team that couldn't get back to a finals. Now fast forward to this past year, the one that ended with the exit. He led the Lakers to a first-round upset of the Houston Rockets, before bowing out to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the second round. All without his co-star Luka Doncic. A sweep to end the season. That's the same sweep Bayless referenced when he built his case, that LeBron's tenure deserved a middling grade instead of a farewell parade. And behind the scenes, the front office had already started building without him. It was made clear the previous offseason that the Lakers were no longer planning around LeBron. They were building around newly acquired superstar Luka Doncic. The franchise's attempts to build a competitive roster were made more difficult by LeBron's salary, and they just paid out to keep Austin Reeves on a new deal. That's the backdrop Bayless was pointing at when he argued the Lakers had already quietly decided this partnership was over, long before any statement went out. It's not hard to see why. A team that traded for a 26-year-old face of the franchise, that just locked up its second star with a max extension, and that watched its 41-year-old legend get swept in the second round. That's a team with its own momentum, moving in a direction that didn't need to include him. So when the announcement came, it didn't land as a shock in a vacuum. It landed on top of a year of roster decisions that all pointed one direction, and a 24-hour window where a father's exit followed his son's contract getting locked up. That combination is exactly what turned tribute statements into targets. And it's why Bayless didn't stop at one tweet. If Section 2 explained why the timing looked suspicious, this is where you see just how far one man rode that suspicion. Skip Bayless didn't post once and move on. He built an entire case, tweet by tweet, and it escalated fast. Bayless went absolutely nuclear on social media after the announcement, firing off a pair of tweets in quick succession to take issue with how Rich Paul and his client had handled their business, opening with the claim that Rich Paul did not simply inform the Lakers that LeBron would play elsewhere next season. He framed the entire exit as a money story, not a happiness story. Rich Paul had said LeBron left the Lakers because he was seeking complete happiness, and Bayless called that wrong, arguing that complete happiness was playing with his son in Hollywood in 365-day golf weather, and that the Lakers had sent a painfully clear lowball message that they didn't want him back. Notice the detail there. Golf. Bayless wasn't just making an abstract point about money. He was pointing out that LeBron had built an entire lifestyle around Los Angeles, playing alongside his son, and that nobody walks away from that unless they're pushed. It's a specific, almost personal jab, not a generic media hot take. Then he pivoted to the number that would define the rest of free agency. Less than 2 hours after his first round of tweets, Bayless hit social media again with a final jab at both Paul and James, wondering if the 10 to 12 teams Rich Paul claimed were interested in LeBron were aware he'd shot 31.7% from three last season, ranking 159th of 162 qualified shooters. That's a brutal number to throw out about a four-time MVP on the day he's trying to sell himself to the league. And Bayless wasn't done circling back to it either. Weeks earlier, during the Lakers' playoff run, he'd already been building this file on LeBron's decline in real time. He'd said LeBron was starting to beg for every call, even worse than Luka begs for every call and non-call, and that it got hard to watch. That's not a one-off shot, that's a pattern. A running argument Bayless had been developing across an entire season, and the exit gave him the perfect moment to cash it all in. The history matters here too, because this wasn't Bayless discovering a new opinion. To say Bayless isn't James' biggest fan would be an understatement. He's watched every season of the legendary career, taking every opportunity to shade him along the way, whether dwelling on rare off nights or using Michael Jordan to point out shortcomings. This is a rivalry with mileage on it, and the Lakers' exit just handed him the biggest stage he'd had in years. And when Bayless got the chance to say all of this to LeBron's biggest defender's face, he took it without blinking. Bayless returned to First Take and instantly sparked chaos by ranking LeBron James 9th all-time, drawing a strong reaction from Stephen A. Smith, reigniting one of sports media's longest-running arguments on LeBron's place in NBA history within minutes of returning to the show. He reportedly placed Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Shaquille O'Neal as his top 3 players ever, dropping James far below the consensus top 2 range where he's usually ranked. Smith wasn't going to let that sit. Smith immediately fired back, calling Bayless's ranking borderline blasphemous, and arguing James firmly belongs at number 2 all-time behind Jordan because of his longevity, production, championships, and overall impact on basketball. So even the man defending LeBron's legacy against Bayless still had to draw a line. Not top spot, but a defensible number 2. That's the strange middle ground LeBron found himself in during his exit. Even his allies were negotiating where exactly he ranked, while his critics were busy dismantling the narrative around why he left in the first place. By the time free agency's negotiating window actually opened, LeBron wasn't dealing with one bad take. He was dealing with a full argument built across months, cashed in within 48 hours, questioning his shooting, his tenure, his teammates' loyalty, and his own honesty about why he walked. And Bayless wasn't the only one throwing punches. Stephen A. Smith had his own fight brewing, and it wasn't really about LeBron at all. It was about what he left behind. While Bayless fought over why LeBron left, Stephen A. Smith turned his attention to what the Lakers did the moment he was gone. And that fight got just as loud, just as fast. James's departure marked a major shift for the Lakers, leaving Rob Pelinka to reshape the roster around Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and newly acquired center Walker Kessler. Within days, the front office had gone on a spending run, locking in pieces to build the post-LeBron era. The Lakers agreed to a $130 million sign-and-trade with the Jazz, upgrading their starting center position. Smith didn't see progress. He saw a problem. Previewing his criticism on his own show, Smith argued the Lakers weren't going anywhere being led by 3 white dudes in today's generation of basketball, saying Rob Pelinka had made this white dude central, and that it was no wonder LeBron James had walked out the door. That's Smith tying the exit directly to the rebuild, arguing LeBron saw the direction of this roster coming and left because of it. Smith framed the new group as incapable of carrying title expectations, while critics of the argument pointed to skill, chemistry, and role balance as the measures that should define the discussion instead. Bayless, of course, saw the exact same moves and drew the opposite conclusion, that they were proof the Lakers were better off. Bayless called the Kessler move a strong pickup, the shooter Luka had lacked and wanted, adding that Sexton and Grimes weren't bad pickups either, and that all of it was made possible by saying no to Lagone's demand. 2 of the loudest voices in sports media, looking at the same roster, using it to build 2 completely different arguments about LeBron. One says he was pushed out because the front office didn't value him. The other says the front office is thriving, specifically because it stopped building around him. Doncic himself stayed out of the fight entirely, and his reaction is worth noting precisely because of how calm it was next to everything swirling around it. Doncic reacted to James's departure on social media, writing in a post to his Instagram story that it was an honor to play with and learn from you. No shots fired, no confirmation of any rift, which didn't stop Bayless from insisting behind the scenes that the relationship wasn't what it appeared to be. Then Anthony Davis got involved, and this is where the beef stopped being confined to media personalities and started pulling in actual players connected to LeBron's own championship history. Davis, the man who stood next to LeBron when the Lakers won it all in the bubble, used the moment of the Lakers' spending spree to throw shade at Rob Pelinka, a shot that landed right in the middle of the same news cycle, where the front office was being praised and attacked in equal measure for building a team that didn't need his old running mate anymore. Magic Johnson, on the other hand, went a completely different direction, and his voice mattered because he was the executive who originally brought LeBron to Los Angeles in the first place. Johnson posted that he wanted to thank LeBron James and his agent Rich Paul for taking a meeting with him back in 2018, when he was president of the Lakers, and deciding to sign with the franchise, crediting him with creating a whole new era for the team, including the 2020 championship. No shade there, just gratitude from the man who started this whole chapter. That's the split screen this exit created. On one side, Bayless and Smith turning every roster decision and every statement into ammunition against LeBron's version of events. On the other, Doncic and Magic offering calm, almost ceremonial goodbyes. Both existed at the exact same time, on the exact same day, about the exact same man. And somewhere in the middle of it, actual NFL and NHL teams were joking about recruiting LeBron for other sports entirely, treating the biggest free agency story in basketball like open mic night. Given the news, NFL teams plus Ohio State and Oklahoma State started recruiting him for football, while a handful of other teams, including the NHL's Winnipeg Jets, added their own spin, trying to lure him. The noise had officially become bigger than the basketball, and that's exactly the environment LeBron now has to navigate as he figures out where he plays next, with critics rewriting his tenure in real time, allies defending a legacy that nobody was actually attacking on the court, and a fight over his exit that's arguably gotten louder than his actual free agency. Here's where all of this settles, at least for now. LeBron is still choosing his next team, and the noise around his exit hasn't slowed that process down. If anything, it's added pressure to get the decision right. The Golden State Warriors were considered at the front of the line in pursuit of James, with a reported goal of assembling a Big Four of James, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Anthony Davis, who currently plays for the Washington Wizards. The Warriors had been one of the teams planning to pursue James once the negotiating window began, though the Wizards made clear they weren't interested in moving on from Davis. Other teams that James may be interested in include the Miami Heat and the Cavaliers, according to multiple reports, the two franchises where he'd already built championship legacies before Los Angeles. Whichever jersey he ends up in, the fight over how he left Los Angeles isn't going away quietly. Bayless already has his framing locked in: a C-grade tenure, a front office relieved to move on, a superstar who got lowballed and dressed it up as choice. Smith has his own framing, a Lakers roster that proves LeBron saw the writing on the wall. Neither side needs LeBron to respond for the argument to keep going. That's the strange part about beefing with someone who's already walked out the door. He doesn't have to answer, and the fight keeps burning anyway. And then there's the piece of this that has nothing to do with media takes at all: his son. The Lakers began their offseason with a much more modest move before their complete roster overhaul. They guaranteed the contract of third-year guard Bronny James before LeBron announced he'd be moving on, leaving many wondering if the Lakers would ultimately send Bronny to whatever team LeBron signs with, or keep him as a reserve guard and separate the father and son for the first time in his career. That decision is still hanging in the air. According to Dave McMenamin of ESPN, a Bronny trade is possible once LeBron decides his next chapter, with a subsequent move potentially made once that landing spot is set. For now, even with LeBron gone, Bronny remains part of the Lakers' long-term plans, expected to continue developing alongside Doncic, Reeves, and the young core under coach JJ Redick. So the father-son storyline that made this Lakers era feel unlike anything the league had seen before is now sitting in limbo, waiting on a decision that's tangled up in exactly the kind of speculation Bayless and Smith have spent all week fueling. Every team meeting, every insider report, every hot take about whether LeBron was pushed or walked on his own. Bronny's next few months are riding on the answer just as much as LeBron's are. What's clear is this: the announcement itself was calm. Two statements: a thank you, a tribute. It's everything that happened in the 48 hours after that turned into a fight. Bayless calling the whole exit a lie, dressed up as happiness. Smith turning the new roster into proof LeBron saw it coming. Davis throwing shade at the man running the front office. And an entire son's career now caught in the crossfire of where his father lands next. LeBron didn't throw a single public shot at anyone through all of this. He didn't need to. The people around him did all the fighting for him. And by the time the dust from that first week settled, the story of his departure from the Lakers had become less about a farewell and more about who gets to control what actually happened. A fight that's still going, with no one on the floor to end it. ESPN. LeBron James informs Lakers he plans to play elsewhere in 2026-27. Yahoo Sports. LeBron James' real reason for leaving LA Lakers revealed. Yahoo Sports. LeBron James leaving Lakers reportedly plans to return for 24th NBA season with a new team. ESPN. LeBron James leaving Lakers prompts reaction from Luka. Magic. NNPR LeBron James' next team. A Lakers reporter shares the most logical fit. ABC News. LeBron James speaks out on decision to leave Lakers, continue playing. NBC News. LeBron James won't return to the Los Angeles Lakers. Clutch points. Stephen A. Smith not surprised LeBron James left over white dudes. Clutch points. Skip Bayless loves LA's bombshell free agency moves with Lee gone out. The big lead. Skip Bayless doesn't buy LeBron James' reason for Lakers exit. Yahoo Sports. Luka does not want him back. Skip Bayless makes bold accusation. Yahoo Sports. Of course, Skip Bayless loves Lakers' bombshell free agency moves. Yardbarker. They did not want him back. Skip Bayless claims Lakers sent LeBron James a lowball message. HITC. Skip Bayless says why LA Lakers will be relieved LeBron James has left. Total Pro Sports. Skip Bayless instantly reignites LeBron James debate during explosive First Take reunion. Clutch points. Skip Bayless unleashes on LeBron James. Rich Paul after LA exit. Yahoo Sports. LeBron James's Lakers exit raises new questions about Bronny's future. Yahoo Sports. What's next for Bronny James now that LeBron James is leaving Lakers? Lakers Nation. What LeBron James's Lakers departure could mean for Bronny. CBS Sports. LeBron James free agency rumors. What's next for Bronny? Yahoo Sports. What LeBron James Lakers exit means for Bronny James. Yahoo Sports. Sporting news. Bronny James's future with Lakers gets major update. https://say.scarts.yahoo.com Scarts News. Bronny James future Lakers gets $55,242,197.html